Okay, it's Monday morning. Bags are all loaded. We have bag service every day, so I've loaded all the bags and we're ready to head out for New Brunswick. Tonight we'll be in Woodstock, New Brunswick. Okay, this is Highway 20. We're in Quebec still, on the south shore of the St. Lawrence River, and we're going to make our first break of the day. We haven't traveled very far actually. We're just going to stop at a place called Saint Jean Port Joli. And this is a great place for artisans. Typically, it's mostly wood carvings that are here, although it's also famous for models of sailing ships. So here we are, we're just heading straight ahead. You can see the mountains. Those mountains are on the other side of the St. Lawrence River, on the north shore. Those are the Laurentian mountain chain. And we're headed into the town now. In the next clip, we will be at the boutique. You can see some of the wood carvings straight ahead of me, actually. We've actually been here now for 45 minutes and we're just getting ready to leave. And you pull in and then you have to back out onto the road. Luckily, the owner of the place is a nice old gentleman, and he's always willing to help the bus driver to get back out onto the road. It's a very, very busy road, so that's what we're doing here. He's got wood carvings for sale here. He's also got a museum. If you go inside, there's all sorts of, the whole place is filled with these wood carvings, both done by himself and by numerous other artists in the area. So here we are backing out. This is Highway 132 that we're backing out onto. This is the old highway before Highway 20 was put through here. This is the old highway that went along the south shore of the St. Lawrence River. So we're heading now, we're going to go back out onto the highway. We're heading for our lunch break at Edmunston, New Brunswick. But first we'll go for a little drive through Saint Jean Port Joli. It's named that after the Port Joli River. So this is the little town. Catholicism is very important in Quebec. Certainly was probably far more important in days past than it is now. It was part of the educational system, it was part of the governmental system, and each town has its church still sort of at the center of the town. And we're right on the St. Lawrence River here, basically. It is a little bit below the level that we're at here. There's behind these buildings you can go down to the river, and it's just there's maybe 10-15 steps to get down to the river level. Now I'm heading out here. This highway actually crosses Highway 20. And so instead of going back out the way we came in, we're going to take a little drive along the river and go back out to the highway. Problem is, there's a huge construction project less than 2 kilometers from Highway 20, and we ended up having to detour all over the place to get back on the highway. But here we are back on the highway. We're further to the east now. We're just at Rivière-du-Loup. And we are going to head up the highway, or head down, I should say. It's going to take us directly south down into New Brunswick. So we're almost 2 hours east of Quebec City here. So this is Highway 185. This is a continuation of the TransCanada Highway. Actually, I believe this stretch is known as Auto Route 85. Then it turns into the 185 when it goes down to 2 lanes. Beautiful view from up here. This is just a little bit further along the highway, actually. Rivière-du-Loup is off to our left, the town. And you can see mountains in the distance here as well. We're going to go through them. They're not huge mountains, of course, like we have in Western Canada, but we do have in Eastern Canada the Laurentians I've already mentioned. We also have the Appalachians, which are directly ahead of us. Just a couple of minutes, we're actually going to go over Rivière-du-Loup, the actual river that gives the town its name. It's right here. And not very far away from here, this nice 4-lane highway ends, and we are on the 2-lane, the 185. Now it's under construction. You'll see some of the scenes coming up. There's a lot of construction. They're actually widening this highway. We'll do some quick scenes of driving here. This is all still in Quebec. Beautiful lake off to the left here. And some of the construction I mentioned earlier. And finally, the moment that everybody on the bus has been waiting for. Our purpose on this trip is to go to Atlantic Canada to visit the Maritimes and Newfoundland. And we're just about to leave Quebec behind and finally enter the Maritimes. This is the border between Quebec and New Brunswick. Le Nouveau Brunswick. New Brunswick is the only Canadian province that is officially bilingual. We're going to stop for lunch here at Edmunston. And then in the next clip will be after lunch. We're now driving on our way down from Edmunston to Heartland, New Brunswick. We're going to visit the covered bridge at Heartland. It's obviously been raining. Cleaned all the bugs off my windshield. That water you can see in the distance, that's the St. John River. Okay, so here we are. We're just going to drive into the village of Hartland, New Brunswick. We're going to visit this covered bridge. It's the longest covered bridge in the world. Covered bridges were constructed with a roof and sides to protect the complex wooden trusswork from the weather, from the rain and the snow, to help keep them from rotting. This bridge which is quite long actually. It's in the neighborhood of 1,200 feet long. Cost $33,000 when it was built. I think the original bridge was built across here in the late 1890s, completed in 1901, and then the current bridge was completed in the 1920s. For those of you who are interested in truck driving, Day and Ross, one of the biggest truck companies in Canada, this is one of their major yards. Their headquarters is here in Heartland. They are part of the McCain companies. Two major companies in the Maritime provinces are Irving Oil and McCain Foods. You can see trucks can go straight ahead, and there's all sorts of warnings about construction because the big bridge that the trucks can go across and the buses can go across is under construction. We'll see that in a couple of minutes. Down this way, though, we go down to the covered bridge. And trucks and buses, for some reason, aren't allowed to cross it. Weight limit is 10 tons. That's 10 metric tons. And we're too big to go through the covering anyways. Here you can see, just in the distance, you can see the end of it. So I'm going to take the group down there. I'm going to drop off those who are willing, and they're going to walk across. There's a walkway on the right-hand side as we're looking at the bridge here. They're going to walk across. See how long it is? It is the longest covered bridge in the world. It's a one-lane bridge, so these people are all waiting for the traffic to come from the other way. And of course, there isn't any sort of traffic light guarding it, so you have to kind of trust the person on the other side isn't going to be too impatient. So now I'm going to go across the big bridge, which is under construction. We've been waiting here now. I think I waited here for over 5 minutes for the electronic flagman, the traffic lights here, to change to allow us to go. Certainly felt like it was forever. Now pay attention to how narrow this lane is. It's not bad here. Lots of room right now. But wait till we get up here. There's a concrete jersey barrier protecting the construction workers. And this is so tight. I came so close to bouncing off the concrete barrier in here a couple of times. And I had to come back this way. I took it a lot slower coming back. So I really didn't need to damage the bus. It's in pretty good shape. And I don't need to damage other people's property, that's for sure. So now I'm headed over. I'm going into the village of Heartland itself, the sort of center of the village. There's not much of a village here, to be honest. And I'm going there to pick up the group that have walked across the bridge. And there's a chance here for them to use washrooms, grab a drink if they want. Mind you, we're only 15 minutes from the hotel here, so not a big drive from here to the hotel. So this is Heartland itself. The building we just went by there a moment ago is the actual headquarters, the head office of Day and Ross Transportation. So if you've ever seen their orange and black trucks, this is where they come from originally. So we just passed the exit from the covered bridge. This is the tourist information booth. So we're going to pull in here, and there's the booth there. And in behind it you can see the covered bridge. So we're just going to park here and pick up the people. When we leave here, we're headed for the hotel. It's a very pretty spot, this. But a lot of the Maritimes is pretty like this. Okay, so we're exiting from the highway, the TransCanada Highway. This is highway number 2 in New Brunswick, by the way. It's highway number 1 in Western Canada. And here it's highway number 2. In Ontario, it goes by various numbers. Highway 17, Highway 12, Highway 401 in parts. Quebec, Highway 20 is the TransCanada Highway on the south shore, and Highway 40 is the TransCanada Highway on the north shore. We are going to take these people over to Newfoundland, right to the end of the TransCanada Highway. Mile 0 is at St. John's. So anyways, here we are, Woodstock, New Brunswick. This is our stop for the night. And we're just headed for the hotel. It's a Best Western, and it's a relatively new Best Western. I'm sitting here actually in that Best Western doing this video, and this is really a nice hotel. I am happy. There it is there on the right. So we're going to pull in, offload the luggage, let the people off. They can take their handbags up to their rooms, and then we're going to get ready to go out for supper. Another smooth landing. Okay, so we're at the hotel, Woodstock, New Brunswick, and the bags are offloaded, the people are off the bus. We're going to go out. There isn't very much around this hotel for a real good meal. There's some fast food outlets and things like that. But we want to take them for a good meal, so we're going to take them out for supper in just a few moments. It's actually 6 o'clock now. We'll be leaving at 6:15. And so that's it for day 3. We are in the Maritimes. Thank you for watching.